In Albion Online, I recently gathered and sold over 100 million silver in raw resources. But after doing that, lately I've been wondering, what's next? And that's when it hit me. I'm gonna become the #1 gatherer in the entire NA server. But there's one small problem. 23 Juanita 23 has 524 million to hold first place, and I'm not quite there. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me. So for the foreseeable future, we're going to be focusing on all the different ways to get gathering fame. So let's get into it. So armed with a full set of tier 8 tools, 2 tier 8 gathering potions, and a bunch of journals, I set out to the only place that I could think of that would give me all the gathering fame I needed: the Roads of Avalon. Now, taking the random portal out of Brazilian seems to have dropped me into a hideout zone, which could be both a good thing or a bad thing. Coming across the dead body of this enchanted golem kind of signals a bad thing, but we're not going to put that to waste. So we're going to pop our pie to get extra bonuses and start our grind to the top place. Now, as I approached the first gathering hotspot, I realized it might be a little bit more prudent to first max out my gathering specs. Now, tier 6, we already have hundreds across the board except for stone, but tier 7 and tier 8 could definitely use some work. So I'm hoping in the roads we're able to find a lot more tier 7 elementals than the tier 6 ones. And lo and behold, ask and thou shalt receive. Now, unfortunately, using learning points to accelerate my Destiny board progression is great. We're getting those max specs even faster, but this does not go towards the leaderboard. So the 5 times fame that I'm earning, only a fifth of that actually goes towards becoming the #1 spot on the server. Right now, I'm at 18.67 million in gathering fame. And as we saw earlier, we need to get to 524 million. What a jump. Well, we're already making good progress. Level 28 on Fiber T7. Now, because the leaderboard counts all fame, I'm going to be gathering as much of the easy stuff as possible. Unfortunately, tier 5 bears, not worth my time. Today, the luck is just upon us, and we have stumbled upon an enchanted wisp. Now, the mists are one of the only other zones where you can find all 5 resources available, and the enchanted ones have a chance of bringing me into a tier 7 or tier 8 zone. So it looks like we got lucky with the tier 7 one and spawned right next to this beautiful 6.2 wolf. Now, when I'm in the mist, my preferred method of gathering is running around until I find mobs such as this and any nodes that may be enchanted. Right off the bat, we find another uncommon mist, so I'm going to mark that location as the northwest exit, and hopefully it'll still be there when it's time to jump. Now, another reason you want to prioritize enchanted nodes and mobs is simply because the enchanted ones give you way more fame per tick, and the mobs will always have full ticks. So you're getting both quality and quantity by following this strategy. Now, the beautiful thing about fame, as compared to profit necessarily, if I get killed, I don't lose any of the fame that I've earned from all of this gathering. Now, while I may lose my gear set, I may lose the materials I've gathered, fame is forever. And I think that's just beautiful. Now, of course, profit, getting lots of silver does not hurt at all. I mean, I'm at 225 million, and this is still not even close to it's not even close to a fraction of some of the richest, wealthiest players in this game. Now, the reason you see me passing up nodes of tier 7 is because this node is a perfect example. There's only one tick. Now, in the tier 7s, maybe there's 2 or 3, but given that they take longer to gather and have less resource available, it's just simply not worth the effort. And despite only being tier 5, 5.2 is still a fair win. Now, I may have mentioned it already, and honestly, I can't remember right now, but typically when I'm out in the mist, and the mist or open world is the dedicated zone I'm gathering in, I'd be running a full set of gathering gear, and probably something to help me escape, like the double-bladed staff. But since I went out into the Roads of Avalon in search of fame, I had to bring my combat set, as a combat set is the only thing that's able to take on the aspects and elementals. You unfortunately will not be able to do it, except for maybe the cats in a gathering set. Now, I decided to fight this little mob here, despite seeing an unmounted enemy just to the east of me. So I do have to exercise caution. And as suspected, they are trying to engage. Force pulse bracers are not something I want to be dealing with right now. After evading that guy, one thing that I definitely need to work on, and I realize this, is my combat confidence. I am in a full 8.1, 100 out of 100 spec battle axe set. Now, that guy could be better than me. He may not. But I need to get better at being confident in my combat abilities. And as we look at this guy right now, we realize, yeah, he probably is better than me. I mean, he's 1600. Oh, God. And that is quite unfortunate. And while this does rack up to a loss in the value of our gear, and that will be included on my spreadsheet that I'm tracking, like I mentioned earlier, fame is forever. But with a fresh set of gear, and luckily I had a backup boar chilling in a bank, I am back out into the Roads of Avalon and grinding more fame. The loss of silver hurts, but it happens, and the only thing you can do is bounce back. So I'm going to go ahead and do a 180, head towards this larger stone spot. And being a tier 6 zone, we do have a solid chance of finding some T7 materials. Now, ironically, as we were being attacked, I was talking about my lack of combat confidence. So maybe if I had decided to fight back instead of trying to singularly run away, we would have survived, or at the very least pushed him off enough for us to escape. But you live and you learn, and the only thing we can do is take the losses as lessons and move forward. Now, since I'm here for fame, 5-1 stone is going to serve us very well. Now, while it may not be the most profitable, and we will end up trashing the entire stack, over 104 ticks of 5-1 stone is going to give us quite a lot of fame. coming in at least 72 apiece. It might be a good idea to eat my pie. I don't know what you guys think, but that sounds like a good idea to me. Now, if you guys looked at that gank and you just cringed, you were like, oh my god, that's horrible, those owl gankers, and you hated what you saw, subscribe to the channel, because if you subscribe to the channel, for every sub this channel gets, you get a 1% skill boost into your cognitive thinking, allowing you to make snapshot decisions and know when to run away and fight. Might as well grab some of this 5-2. Now, the great thing about stone spots is it's also a wood spot. Exactly what we were looking for. Now, when it comes to gathering, I like to save my gathering potions for really high value stuff. So maybe if this was enchanted, or if we found a treasure of tier 7 enchanted or 8. And thanks to this tree, we are officially a third of the way to max spec in tier 8 lumberjack. One thing I always do when I'm gathering in the Roads of Avalon is I check the outermost border of every single gathering hotspot. Because very rarely, but still often enough to make it worthwhile, there will spawn another elemental out here. Unfortunately, it appears that all the good stuff may have already been taken from this spot. But we'll see what's on the other side. And then we'll head to these 2 ore spots up here. As suspected. One of my favorite things about the Roads of Avalon is that it has such a beautiful level of access to hide. You go into a T6, a T7, even especially a T8 open world, and you're just not finding hide to the degree that you may find it, even on just these dirt paths out here in the roads. Plus, since they're all cats, they all have a chance of dropping a cub, which will be even more money. And for you raisers out there, for you island pet raisers, that's really great news for you. let's hope there's still something good here for us. And there isn't. 6 flat stone. Now that being said, again, we're shifting our mindset from profit to fame. So 6 flat, if I would take a 6 flat tree, which I've already done, why wouldn't I take 6 flat stone? I still need to get stone to 100 out of 100 in spec, and it gives the same amount of fame as any other 6 flat. So now, instead of running away and losing out on all this fame, that's extra stuff right there, helping me towards my ultimate goal. #1 gatherer on the server. Of course, I'll grab the T6 ore, because that is actually valuable, and it gives fame. And in the same, in the same spirit, why not get the T7 node? Now, I will leave the T5 stone be. That's just going to take up time that I could be using to go find more stuff. Now, while I was lapping this ore spot, I noticed that that core is on the move. Now, cores gathered or collected out in the Roads of Avalon cannot leave the Roads of Avalon. So that means that person is moving to one of these, or one of these 2 portals. Because that's the only place that they can take it. Now, neither lead directly to a hideout zone, which means they have quite the walk ahead of them. But if they have a walk ahead of them like that, they probably have protection. So I need to keep an eye and make sure to go not into the portal that they do. Still keeping an eye on that core that's moving. It just hit the main road. Whoever's moving it may not realize that they can't take it out. And if that's the case, then I'm just going to go towards the closest portal, which requires me to turn around, and I'm going to go right here to this northwest one. Now, one of 2 things could be happening. They could have, like I mentioned, not realized that they cannot take the core out of the roads, or they could be waiting for their backup, waiting for their protectors to come in from the black zone to protect them as they walk through all of the zones that they have to walk through. Now, whatever the case may be, I want to get as far away from them as possible, as fast as possible, to avoid another death unnecessarily, and just maintain the money that I have been able to recoup. Another zone that looks like it's been depleted, except of course for fishing, so maybe, just maybe, it's time to start fishing. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see me start grinding away at fishing. Now, I hear it's super profitable. I just don't know if it's something I can do. I mean, with that mini game, having to pay attention to that and keep my eyes on the screen. So yeah, you let me know down in the comments. Do you want to see me try fishing? Now, aside from pure hide spots, I have to say Big Fiber is probably my second favorite gathering spot in all of the roads. Simply because I tend to find it more abundant, but also it has hide as a secondary resource. Now, where T5 materials of the other four may not have the best value, T5 hide still packs a punch. Not to mention that this will give over another 3,600 fame into my T5 gathering and towards my progression. Why not take it? Now, what I like to do in spots like this is I will loop all the way around to the entrance that has the little island. So that way I can see if the little island has any extra elementals for me to hit. This one doesn't, but it does have an enchanted node, as well as some normal nodes. And all of that T5 hide got me 103,000. So that's definitely no small number. So with no aspects on the inner space, I'm going to go ahead and clean up the nodes, check the rest of the outer space before heading forward to probably that treasure, I think is going to be my next stop. 6.1 ore. So get the fame boost from it being enchanted. Now, just like the cats, the wolves do always have a chance to drop a pup. Although rarer than the cat drop, it's way, way more valuable. With no other elementals available, we move to the treasure. Unfortunately, the treasure's already been hit by another gatherer. And as you can see, there's only one tick left, which means if I were to take that last tick, it would show up on the map when it disappears, and that would be like sending a signal flare up to other gankers. Hey, there's somebody juicy for you to come kill. So we're going to go ahead and avoid that and go straight to the stone spot, which may have been overlooked, as most gatherers will avoid stone due to its low value. And while there may not be elementals here, it does seem like the nodes are fairly untouched, so a win's a win. We'll take it. Now that I've taken all the nodes, oh, one more node left. 5-1 equals 6 flat, so we'll grab it. Now that I've taken all the nodes, with only about 3 minutes left on our pie, I'm going to go ahead and take one of the black zone portals that lead to the open world and find my way back to Safe Haven. Now on my way, I stumbled across this duo here of war golems. I always take the duo mobs like this because doubled up, they come pretty close to about half an elemental, which is no small thing. It's very nice. On my way back to the safe portal town, I stumbled across this beautiful find right here. And you may think, 4 out of 6, it's not a lot, but 0.3 resources are very rare, and therefore very profitable. With only one zone to go before I reach safety, I decided to take a slightly longer path instead of straight lining it, because there's 6 to 15 people in this zone, and if I know one thing that gankers just love to do, is they love to sit outside safe zone and catch people running in. So by taking the not straight line path, I was able to reach the safety circle here, and now we've made it back to Thetford. So by putting away any tools and journals I haven't filled or used, as well as the potions, we were able to walk back another 789,000 in profit. Thankfully, that does offset a little bit of the loss that we had. And let me know in the comments down below your favorite gathering fame farm, because I will be trying all of the suggestions. And that means all of them. So Mists, Roads, Black Zone Open World, or even Blue and Yellow Zone, much to my personal chagrin. But if it works, it works. And I will be starting to track fame per hour as we develop this series. So thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time.